Happy Thursday, everyone. I'm Dana Neeson. Thank you so much for being here. Today, I am going to address setting the table. What in the heck does that mean? Is it a good idea to do? Should you be doing it? Well, I'm going to talk about what it is and more on Final Expense Telesales. If you are just now finding this channel, welcome. My name is Dana once again. I run a telesales team for Tailored Legacy. We sell final expense insurance over the phone with one carrier. My job is to help you have stronger, more sophisticated sales conversations. And I'm going to talk about something called setting the table. And this is a phrase that an IMO uses when it comes to establishing how a conversation is going to go between you and a customer. Essentially, I'm going to read to you what it says verbatim, and then we're going to break it down and talk about it. So setting the table is this. Okay, John, my job is very simple. I'm just the underwriter for the state of California. My job is just to see if you qualify or do not qualify. Now, if you do qualify, I'm going to give you a few options. And once we decide which one best fits your budget and need, at that point, you can either apply for the coverage or you can decline the coverage. Does that make sense? Now, if you decide to apply for the coverage at that point, the insurance carrier is going to ask you for your basic information like name, date of birth, address, social, and banking information. Is that something you're comfortable doing over the phone today? Okay, that is setting the table. That is done, I'm going to say, in the first 5 minutes of the conversation. This is after we've asked things like, have you been shopping around for a while, or am I the first person you've spoken to? Are you looking to get coverage for yourself or for a spouse? Are you working or retired? And do your benefits get paid on a traditional bank or a direct express card? Also, have you ever had life insurance before? Would this be your first time applying? The rationality behind why some of these questions are asked are also different than what I would think they would be. Like, for example, have you ever had life insurance before? Would this be the first time applying for coverage? The reason I would ask that question is because, gosh, if someone's never had life insurance before, it probably feels kind of confusing and an overwhelming experience. And most people won't make a decision because they're afraid of making the wrong one because maybe they don't understand it. But the rationality behind why this script has you ask, have you ever had life insurance before, or would this be your first time, is because if they've had it before, they already know that they have to provide their social and their banking. So you're already getting rid of some of that hesitation up front. Okay, so let's talk about this setting the table thing, because you're doing this in the beginning when you don't know a whole lot about somebody's motivation, their why, their fears, their insecurities. They really don't know you very well. They haven't opened up to you very much. You have a little bit of information about kind of where they've been and who they're looking to get coverage for. But like, we just met, right? We are not even on a first date yet. And you're already basically telling me that if I decide to apply for the coverage, I have to give that information, and am I comfortable doing that over the phone today? Now, if I say no, then you are being instructed to exit that call. Don't waste your time with somebody that isn't going to be comfortable giving you that information. I'm sorry. I totally, emphatically disagree with that entire thought process for so many reasons. The number one being, you haven't done anything to earn my trust or earn my business. So I think if someone were to ask me that, my immediate reaction would be resistance. It would be, well, I don't know yet. I'm not sure. I can't tell you if I'm comfortable doing that today because I don't even know if I want it yet. So no, I can't tell you if I'm going to be comfortable. So in that case, are you just going to judge me and dismiss me as a potential customer because I'm not committing that I'm going to be providing my banking information and my social security number over the phone? Now, if I said yes, how do you know that you're still not going to get that objection at the end? Like, unless they're sold, unless they want it, even if they say, yes, I'm comfortable with doing that, and then you get to the end and you ask for it, I guarantee people are still going to say, I don't want to give you my banking information or my social security number, because they said it in the beginning just to pacify you so you can continue on with your presentation and your price. Or B, they don't feel like you're going to give them the answers that they're looking for. You haven't motivated them to change their current situation, right? Which either comes out of fear of the present or fear of the future. And all of that happens through the work that you do as a sales professional to help somebody want to move forward with you, not to get them to pre-commit that that's the information that they have to provide and are you worth my time. I really do think that if that is the script that you're using, you are possibly missing out on a good amount of business and opportunity by judging the leads and by getting somebody to pre-commit to something before you've even had the opportunity to earn their trust before asking for the sale. That setting the table paragraph right there is the epitome of not removing yourself from the expectation that this person in front of you or on the phone is going to end up in a sale. That is exactly what you're doing, is you're making it all about you and not about the client before you even have a moment to understand who you have the privilege of getting the chance to try to help. Removing yourself from the expectation of getting a sale is probably one of the hardest things that you will figure out how to do. And the most successful, I'm talking like the top 1% of not just people who sell the most and convert the most, but that also includes keeping that business on the books, having a high persistency score. And because you are doing what's in the best interest of your client, not what's in the best interest of yourself. And when you do what's in the best interest of somebody else, the result of that will end up being what's in the best interest for you tenfold. One more thing that I wanted to address, which happened to be in the same video that I watched where that script came from, was the person was recommending triple dialing. And there's nothing wrong with triple dialing. In fact, the rationality behind why this person was triple dialing, I agree with, right? You get an unrecognized number on your phone that's not saved. You're probably not going to answer it. So I agree. Number two, it immediately calls back, but you're still not quite convinced that it's somebody that you should answer. Maybe send it to voicemail. Third time, now you're really curious. Why is this person calling me again? You will get a bigger pickup rate on that third dial. And so don't be afraid to triple dial. When they answer, whether it's abrupt or pleasant, I'm so glad you picked up the phone. I've been trying to reach you. I know you don't have my number saved, which is why I called you a couple of times, regarding your inquiry to protect your family from out-of-pocket funeral expenses. Just wanted to see if I can get a hold of you and help you in any way that I can, right? So don't make it a bad thing. Part of that video, I totally agree. However, you have to understand the TCPA rules and regulations in each state and when you're allowed to do it and when you're not allowed to do it. So there are actually 4 states in which you are not allowed to triple dial because you are not allowed to contact people in these specific states more than 3 times in an entire 24-hour period. The first one being Florida. You absolutely cannot triple dial leads in Florida unless that is the only dialing you are going to do to them in a 24-hour period. No more than 3 call attempts to any consumer over a 24-hour period on the same subject matter or issue. That law applies to Florida, Maryland, and Oklahoma. The 4th state that has frequency restrictions is Maine. And if you're buying leads in Maine, that law reads no more than 1 solicitation call using an automated telephone calling device to any telephone number during each 8-hour period. So that means if you're using a dialer, you can call once every 8 hours. That's it. Let's wrap this up with the whole setting the table thing. There is absolutely no reason you need to get a pre-commitment in the first 5 minutes of your conversation. In fact, it should be whether or not you are making a decision with me today. My job is to at least make sure that you understand it so that when you are ready to make the decision, you feel comfortable in doing so because you have the right information to do that. Does that sound fair? Whether or not, take the sale away. Talk about reducing the sales pressure and the sales resistance. Don't try to force someone to make a decision. That's only going to cause more sales resistance and make them feel like you are in it for yourself and not for them. I'm going to throw you one more nugget today before we end today's training video, and it is on an objection response that I heard today. And it was, I want to think about an objection at the end. And this person said, we have a no call back rule here at the office. And the reason we do is because the last time we let someone think about it, they ended up passing away 6 months later while they were thinking about it. And guess who that family blamed? Me. And I'm not going to let that happen again. So you want it, you need it, you can afford it. We know it's something you want to have, so why not do it? Okay. I love the person who said this. He got it from Brian Tracy. I also emphatically disagree that pressuring somebody to make a decision because of your no callback policy is not fair. And it's not the right way to do things. And that will also set yourself up for a chargeback. The better approach to handle an I want to think about it objection is to get them back to the emotion of whether or not they even want the protection in the first place. So I understand. It's a lot of information. I can see why you would want to think about it. Can I just ask, is this even something you want to have? Well, yeah, I think I want to have it. Okay, well, that's good. That's a good start. Would you mind sharing with me why though? Like, why do you want to have it? Well, because I definitely want my kids to have the coverage to take care of my funeral. I don't want to be a burden. And, it's just a big financial decision right now. And I just got to really make sure I can afford it. Okay. So the reason here that you're hesitant at the moment is not because you're undecided if you want the insurance. It's because you want to make sure that it's affordable and fits within a comfortable budget that you don't have to worry about. Correct? Yes. Is there anything else you're concerned about? Well, maybe I want to talk to my kids about it first to make sure that they agree. Okay, that's not a problem. Can I just ask if your kids were here right now? What do you think they would say? Well, I think that they would like it. Well, why do you think they would like it? Well, because they won't have to worry about coming out of pocket and paying for things. Well, which one do you think they would pick? Why do you think they would pick that? Do you agree with that? You see where I'm going? So what would you do if you go to your kids and they tell you they don't want you to put something in place? What would you do then? Hopefully they say, well, I'll just do it anyway. Okay, so let me see if I got this straight. You wanted to think about it because A, you wanted to make sure it's affordable, and B, you want to make sure that your kids are on board. However, if your kids were here, they'd probably choose this one, and this is why. But if you go to them and they say no, you're probably going to want to do it anyways because as a mom, you don't want to put that burden on them. Did I get that right? Yes. Okay. Can I maybe make a recommendation then? Yes. It seems to me that you've given me all the reasons why you need it, why you want it, how it would help relieve that burden when you pass. But we certainly don't want to put anything on your pocketbook that would definitely cause any sort of anxiety. So why don't we go down one more step and at least do the minimum to at least make sure the cremation is taken care of. That was that $5,000 policy for $39 a month. And when you go talk to your kids, if they decide that it might be appropriate for you to have more, you can always call me back and we can apply for the increase. Would that maybe be an appropriate solution? If they say yes, but I still want to talk to them, that's not a problem. How long do you need to talk to them? Maybe just a week or two. Perfect. So we won't put anything in place for 2 weeks from today. That'll give you plenty of time to talk to them before it goes into effect. Would that be a reasonable solution? Okay, so what I'm doing here is walking them through what they need to think about and helping them solve it in real time so they actually feel good about making a decision, not just saying something like, we have a no callback policy, because who are you making that about? You again, to get the sale. By strong arming someone, just because you have a story of somebody who passed away while they were thinking about it, it's not good enough. It sounds desperate. So do better and you will get better results. No setting the table, no office policies. Don't triple dial in the states that you can't. When you know better, you can do better, and we will see you next time.